Good evening, I'm Ces Oreña-Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa. Control anomalies.
Dahil ang mga diskaya mismo ang umamin sa Senate Blue Ribbon hearing na lumaki ang kanilang negosyo simula noong 2016.
Ano to? May cover up para ilihis yung atensyon sa totoong may kasalanan. Wala po akong kinalaman sa kanila at wala po akong pakialam sa mga diskaya. Kasuhan nyo.
Kailangan mag-cooperate sila. Kung hindi sila mag-cooperate, pasensyahan tayo.
Fact finders are now looking at the connection of Curly and Sara Diskaya and Senator Bongo. There's information that the contractor couple actually had joint ventures with a company owned by the family of the known Duterte ally. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos with tonight's Big Story.
The Office of the Ombudsman and the Department of Public Works and Highways are closely watching the so-called King and Queen of Contractors. To be included in the scrutiny are documents and contracts Curly and Sara Diskaya signed and entered into during the Duterte administration. According to DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, the Diskayas themselves admitted during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing that their business started to flourish back in 2016. Recall that the couple had said they will no longer cooperate with the ICI or the Independent Commission for Infrastructure's probe into the anomalous flood control projects.
Ang mga diskaya mismo ang umamin, lumaki ang kanilang negosyo simula noong 2016. Kailangan mag-cooperate sila. Kung hindi sila mag-cooperate, pasensyahan tayo. Hindi ba? Ganun lang naman kasimple yun eh.
Remulla first told One News program Storycon that the Diskayas' business boomed after St. Gerard Construction entered a joint venture with CLTG Builders, a company owned by the family of known staunch Duterte ally Senador Bongo.
Tinanong ko sa kanila yung CLTG. Ang sinabi sa akin, never nila nakilala yung Christopher Lawrence Bongo na CLTG, Christopher Lawrence Tesoro Go. That's the initials of the person, the senator, in the company that dealt with them. They never met him. Looking at their record, na puro selfie sila at puro picture sila with everybody they meet. You think it's possible? I don't see fear in their faces.
Is that correct?
Oh, sobrang ano. Ika nga sa Tagalog, matinik tsaka madulas. At ayaw umamin.
As early as 2018, the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism has reported that CLTG amassed a total of 4.6 billion pesos in infrastructure projects with the DPWH from 2007 to 2017. The Diskayas earlier admitted entering into a joint venture with the CLTG projects in the Davao region in 2017. Is smoking gun? What the DPWH believes at this point is that the controversial contractor couple will be prosecuted and jailed. Secretary Dizon notes that in fact, they have already recommended cases against the Diskayas before the Ombudsman and non-bailable ones at that. Ombudsman Remulla's office is planning to file this at the Sandigan Bayan in the coming weeks. Meantime, according to ICI, Executive Director Brian Hosaka, they're still studying if Senator Bongo will be invited to its hearings. The ICI still needs to establish the lawmakers' involvement in questionable flood contracts. Only until then will he be summoned or even requested to be included in Bureau of Immigration's lookout bulletin order if it does go that far. For his part, Go calls his being linked to the Diskayas as just a distraction. He vehemently denies involvement in the scandal.
Yung flood control ang issue dito. Huwag tayong lumihis. Ano to? May cover up. May mga gumagalaw na puwersa para iikot po yung katotohanan. Para hindi mapanagot. Marami nang lumalabas. Ang dami-daming mga kongresista na sila mismo ang kontraktor. Sila mismo ang kinalaman ko dyan.
Go insists there's no reason for him to protect the Discayas since he does not even know them.
Hindi ko po kilala ang mga Diskaya. Wala po akong kinalaman sa kanila at wala po akong pakialam sa mga Diskaya.
Go went on, he knows nothing about the dealings of CLTG and the Discayas. He says he no longer dabbles into his family's business as a matter of delicadeza, adding that CLTG has ceased to operate since 2022. If there's anything illegal in the joint venture, he said he himself will initiate the filing of the complaint.
Willing po akong magkaso. Kasuhan natin yung mga dapat kasuhan kahit kamag-anak ko. I'm willing to be the complainant. Mapili ko ba yung kamag-anak ko kung pwede lang pumili ng kamag-anak? Papalitan ko yung kamag-anak ko.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
With staunch ally Senator Bongo now being connected to the Discayas, Vice President Sara Duterte believes it's just a matter of time before she is linked to the flood control issue.
Sa tingin ko, susubukan nila na paabutin sa akin dahil sa kaalyado ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, si Senator Bongo. Doon siguro nila gagawan ng kwento yon. Yung part na ako, si PRD, nasa gitna, at si Senator Bongo, nasa kabilang side.
And as in her past interviews, Duterte is not pulling the punches when it comes to President Bongbong Marcos. She questioned her former running mate's confidence that the flood control investigation is not leading to him. For the Vice President, such conviction only means he already knows how the probe will end.
Sa ganitong ongoing pa yung investigation ko no at inquiry ko no, sobrang magtataka ka bakit confident yung Pangulo na hindi aabot sa Office of the President yung iskandalo at yung korupsyon. So ibig sabihin, siguro alam na niya kung ano yung kalalabasan ng inquiry at ng investigasyon. Kasi wala namang iba sigurong explanation kung bakit napaka-confident mo sa mga mangyayari pa.
The Vice President, though, finds nothing wrong in her confidence that she can't be linked to the flood control scandal. She says no such contracts passed through her office or through the Education Department when she was still its secretary. Duterte also believes she is doing her job, something she can't say Marcos is doing.
I swear to the flag, si BBM, hindi yan siya. Nagtatanong ng trabaho at all. Kaya napansin niyo ba, walang direksyon yung governance at walang direksyon yung iba't ibang departamento. Bakit? Kasi he doesn't give he doesn't command.
Of course, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro is coming to the president's defense. In a message to reporters, Castro said the chief executive shows confidence not because he knows the outcome, but because he has nothing to hide. She added that a person becomes confident when they know that what they are doing is for the country and not for themselves. Castro went on to say that critics who cast doubt on the process may be those evading scrutiny themselves.
Meantime, Batangas 1st District Representative Leandro Leviste has raised concerns over alleged links between appointees of Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon and contractors of flood control projects. Leviste made this claim during a press briefing, urging Dizon to disclose any possible connection between members of his team and the said contractors. The lawmaker added that some of Dizon's new appointees may have direct business interests. However, Leviste was quick to say that the information that he has is still hearsay for now.
If it's true that new appointees in DPWH have interests in companies that do business with DPWH, are we sure that there will be no conflict of interest in the awarding of contracts under the new leadership at DPWH? And why then has this not been previously disclosed?
During that briefing, Leviste received a call that supposedly came from Dizon's office. Note that the reporters present at that press con could not verify who the congressman was really speaking to.
I really don't know who's the contractor in your team, but if you can ask them and come clean to the public, then that would, I think, be a sign that there's real change now in DPWH. I have not even been told who in your team is a contractor. I'm just relaying what I heard.
Now, after this development, Secretary Dizon also held his own media conference where he denied having any contractors on his staff. Nevertheless, he thanked Leviste for raising the matter, but he requested more specific information from the lawmaker.
Tatanggalin ko po yung taong yon immediately. At kung kinakailangan, kakasuhan ko pa yung taong yon. That's very important to me, no, na malaman talaga. No, kung sino yan, kung ano ang circumstances nung narinig niya, importante sa akin yan. No, and I will look forward to having a conversation with Congressman Leviste on that. No, so very, very, very clear. No, hindi ko papalampasin yan.
Now let's get insights on today's developments on the flood control probe front. And we have on the phone House Infracom Head and Public Accounts Committee Chair, Congressman Terry Ridon. Good evening to you, Congressman. Congressman, can you hear us? Good evening.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
All right. Now, the Vizcaya couple are said to be among those who will be charged because they no longer qualify to be state witness. What do you have to say to this?
Well, they were qualified to be state witnesses to begin with. They're the main principals in the plunder of public funds through their contracting firms. No, so I don't think it made any difference whether or not they were cooperating with ICI, because obviously the ombudsman will still file cases against them relating to the projects in flood control.
And this revelation now linking them to the family of Senator Bongo.
Well, you have to look into it, no? So I think the link naman po talaga for the Vizcayas has always been their financial statement in the last couple of years, which started growing during the time of President Duterte. No, I think that was the basic link to the Vizcayas as to why we are talking about previous projects in the previous administration, not necessarily projects with the family of Senator Bongo. So we would like to wait for what the ombudsman will actually do, no, relating to the projects which involve the joint venture of CLTG and St. Gerard, one of the Vizcaya firms.
Yeah. Are you feeling any FOMO now? Because, you know, you used to be presiding over the flood control scam hearings, and now we're basically on the same footing as the public, just awaiting the developments on the ICI and from the ombudsman.
No, not really. Of course, it's not about me. No? It's about making sure that everyone is made accountable, that everyone is actually made to face justice. No? So if it's the ICI that will make sure of it, or if it will be Ombudsman Remulla that will make sure of it, we will support it. No? Pero syempre, we're monitoring all of the developments, and more importantly, it's not just about the DPWH infrastructure project at this point. No? So I think Congress, moving forward, when we return, can actually look into like the DOH health center problems, the NIA problems, and several other like LGU issues, which also relate to similar contractors like the Vizcaya. No? So I think that is not within the ambit of the suspension that we had done in the Infracom.
You have a powerful committee. Actually, you exercise oversight on government spending. So there are so many other agencies that may have corruption issues as well.
Yes, and as a particular example, the DOH is looking into the super health centers, no, So I think they have been finding that you have like ghost projects there as well, particularly in Marikina City. So I think my committee and maybe with the Health Committee and the Good Government Committee can also form another TRICOM to look into the health centers, whether or not they're substandard and also ghost.
Okay, so after the Undas break, when the budget will be settled na, it'll be in the past, what's your plan? Did you plan, because madaming ang lumalabas, no, na may racket dito, may racket dyan. Have you planned the hearings out already since Infracom is pretty broad? Do you have a schedule?
Well, Infracom is indefinitely suspended for as long as the ITI is operating, no? But but this is limited to DPWH projects only, no? So when we talk about local government projects, DOH projects, NIA projects, I think an entirely new resolution is required for Congress for our committees to actually act on the matter.
Can't it be under ano na lang, Kong, para mas madali, no? Under public accounts, because at the end of the day, yun naman yung winawaldas, diba?
True. I mean, it's something that we can actually do within my committee. Pero syempre, for example, on the farm to market roads, it should also involve the Agriculture Committee and the Good Government Committee kasi baka merong mga corruption allegations din doon. I mean, it's going to be a similar setup as the Infracom, pero focusing on a different agency or a different department.
Quick thought lang, no, before I turn you over to Pawi. Your thoughts on the unprogrammed appropriations that the House passed in the HGAB. Were you in favor of it? 240 plus billion still made it. And a lot of it is FAPs, foreign assistant projects.
Well, I think to be very clear, no, yung po foreign assistant projects kasi, ang point no, talagang completely obliterated na yung local infrastructure, new infrastructure line item for unprogrammed appropriation. That is basically the great objection of the public. Na parang, why are we allowing unprogrammed appropriations for new bridges, for new flood control, for new roads? When in fact, these types of projects should be a line item in an annual budget. So that has been completely obliterated. I think this is something that I think the Senate will also support. But I think they still have pending discussions on whether or not they would also want to take it out entirely. Pero I think absolutely there is no more going back to the previous situation in which new infrastructure can be used under unprogrammed appropriation.
Okay, but Congressman, interestingly, you have Senate Finance Chairperson Senator Sherwin Gatchalian calling it a mistake to leave foreign assistant projects or counterpart funding in unprogrammed appropriations kasi nga that's contingent on looking for excess revenue, new revenue. So bale dapat daw they are in programmed appropriations. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't remember Senator Sherwin actually talking about the necessity of placing it under programmed appropriations. Kasi, firstly, yung pong mga, it's in unprogrammed appropriations, particularly because baka yung funding for that foreign assisted project doesn't actually exist yet. Or like, the studies don't actually exist yet at this time. So parang, kumbaga, it's just a standby fund in the event na mabuo na hulat ng documentation and we can actually proceed. Kasi it's hard din na like, you put it in a programmed appropriation, pero the studies doesn't exist yet. So, matitenga lang po yung pera.
Pero the projects are named. The
They
projects are actually named.
They have contracts. And if I may, Kong, Chel Diokno also said the same to our sister program yesterday. He believes na dapat nakalagay ito sa program kasi these foreign projects, they happen not overnight Matagalang plano to These are contracts entered into for years. And budget watchers have also said, no, JC Punong Bayan was on the show last night, sabi niya, kinopy-paste lang daw itong mga FAPs from the previous budget kasi hindi nga siya napondohan into this budget's UA.
Pwedeng mali ako, no? Pero ang sinasabi ko lang, tatlo yung pagpipilian Program, unprogrammed, saka supplemental budget, di ba? Yung supplemental, you have to undergo an entirely new process to do it. No? Yung program appropriations lang, baka lang kasi hindi pa handa talaga yung pagkakasa ng proyekto, patenga lang, tapos babalik ulit sa gobyerno. So, I think yung balance is in the UA at this point.
So wouldn't it be better na gawin na lang supplemental para lang, di ba, matanggalan yung bahid ng Kongreso na naglagay na naman ng UA sa 2026 GAA?
wala akong debate, pwede maging supplemental lang. Ang gusto ko lang linawin, pag supplemental, mas matagal yung proseso. Ibig sabihin, as against yung unprogrammed appropriations, we just need yung actual funding source and then ready to proceed na yung foreign assisted project na yun. So, wala akong debate. Pang sinasabi ko lang, it's just a matter of time. Ano ba yung mas mahalaga yung time? Yung time that is saved or yung broadening transparency on the matter. Pero I think, to be very clear, yung focus po talaga at this point should be yung obliteration of yung local infrastructure project that is being undertaken under UA. Kasi my expectation actually was, meron pa rin local infrastructure pero only for rehabilitation, reconstruction, related to disaster response and emergency use. No? Pero even that particular provision also had been taken out of the House version.
Okay. All right. Now let's go into the SALN because there's a directive from the Speaker for all of you to consider this during the break on how the SALNs of all the congressmen can be released, what rules should bind the release, etc. And are you willing to release your own SALN without the public having to ask the ombudsman for it? It's really the House itself being transparent in that manner.
Sure, no problem to release the SALN. Pero I think the House should be able to implement the policy first. Kasi the Ombudsman had already made the general policy on the executive. The House and the Senate should be able to implement their own policy as well. Kasi, syempre, pagka wala nun, hindi paano pa isa-isang mga congressman lang yung naglalabas. Parang, we don't want it to be performative eh. We want the actual policy change in which everyone, like 317 congressmen, would be compelled to basically release all of their salaries.
Yeah. Any recommendations on how this policy should be drafted? What kind of policy should this be?
No, we can just adapt what the ombudsman policy is. No, basically, naman it's a general disclosure, but respecting data privacy limits. No? So there should be no identifiers of where your house is, what the plate numbers of your cars are, yung mga ganun. Basta naman, but anything else. But more importantly, yung absolute numbers, no, in your assets, liabilities, and net worth. Yun talaga dapat fully disclosed yun. Kasi doon natin makikita yung year-to-year comparison of lumaki ba, lumit ba yung kayamanan mo.
Okay, kasi Congressman, also on the Storycon today, the minority pointed out na dapat given. The public should not have to request the ombudsman, but rather it's already pro forma na ilalabas na yan ng mga elective officials.
Pwede, okay lang, walang problema yon na meron hong actual release ng mga SALN. We will let the House leadership make that determination. Pero I think what needs to be clear is, basta merong basic request yung public of a SALN of a particular congressman, dapat walang tanong-tanong, dapat malabas yun. Basta lang ma-redact yung mga personal information.
Sa tingin mo ba mahirap yan gawin? May mga may aalma dyan sa mga kasamahan nyo dyan sa House of Congress?
I think at this point, mahirap na umalma. Kasi firstly, the Ombudsman had already made this as a general policy for the executive. And secondly, House Speaker Boji D had made it as his first commitment in his first press conference that he's willing to show his SALN. Di ba? So if the Speaker is basically willing to show his SALN, sino naman yung mga ordinary kongresista para magreklamo? Di ba?
Congressman, I have one more question about the budget. Sinabi niyo po, wala ng infrastructure projects under unprogrammed appropriations. But what about funds that will go to social programs? Because you also have critics saying, dapat wala yan sa UA. We can just put it in the agencies themselves para maging malinaw na line item siya. So like DSWD, DOH, para talagang makita natin saan napupunta yung pera.
Well, una sa lahat, syempre I think yung pong mga natitirang social programs, firstly, will be contingent on available revenue. But secondly, I think it needs to be responsive to a disaster and an emergency pa rin. No? So, pero kaya linagay lang ho yun sa standby fund. Kasi nga, siyempre, pag linagay mo as a program line item, pag hindi mo yun nagamit, edi parang sayang na naman ho yung paggagamitan nun. Di ba? So, I think the balance should be found between programmed and unprogrammed appropriations at this point.
All right, we thank you for joining the Big Story tonight. Public Accounts Chair Terry Ridon. You're watching the big story here on One News. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure is now eyeing the recovery of assets allegedly bought using funds stolen from flood control projects. Multiple government agencies started talks today on how they can retrieve properties of people involved in the scandal. ICI Chairman, retired Supreme Court Justice Andres Reyes Jr. stressed the need for restitution. He believes prosecution and conviction are simply not enough.
Money that should be utilized to better the lives of Filipinos were instead used by corrupt individuals to buy exotic cars, luxury vacations, and even gamble in casinos. All those persons responsible for this may be prosecuted and jailed. But to completely heal our nation, justice is not enough. We need restitution.
Currently, the Anti-Money Laundering Council has frozen 5 billion pesos from 2,800 accounts. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines also has the aircraft tied to four flood control projects. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon said the government can claim up to 30% of the contract value for projects found to be anomalous.
Meanwhile, the Department of Interior and Local Government, or DILG, will soon issue a memorandum circular for local government units to inspect the homes of informal settler families, or ISFs. DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla believes these ISFs could be the casualties when the so-called Big One hits. That magnitude 7.2 earthquake is projected to cause massive deaths and destruction in the metro.
If we do have the big one, most of the casualties will come from the ISFs because none of their buildings were constructed with the municipal permits, and they cook with kerosene and with other non-regulated cooking implements, and that is the major cause of fires, and that will be the major cause of damage if we have the big ones.
For his part, Interior Undersecretary Marlo Iringan said protocols have been crafted for LGUs to follow in their own preparation for a massive quake. They are also preparing for an infrastructure audit in the National Capital Region, Calabarzon, Bulacan, and Pampanga. Soon, they will also enlist the help of engineering students in conducting structural integrity assessments in these areas.
LGUs will later partner with the Association of Structural Engineers and the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers and colleges and universities which are offering civil engineering courses so that the fifth year, fourth year, and fifth year engineering students can help in assessing the structural integrity of buildings in the National Capital Region and the two regions.
The DILG has also said it is targeting to kickstart the 911 hotline service nationwide 6 months from now. In the Senate hearing for the DILG's budget, Remulla said they are currently in phase 1 of implementation, launching the service in Cebu, Eastern Visayas, Ilocos, Barm, Davao, Negros Island, and Pampanga.
The 911 center, as envisioned, will have a call center which is dialect friendly. So in case of an emergency, if you are in Pampanga, they will answer in Kapampangan. If you are in Iloilo, they will answer in Ilonggo, in Cebu, Bisaya. Same with the Davao region, because we feel that in times of emergency, they can best explain themselves in their thinking voice rather than forcing themselves to speak Tagalog or forcing themselves to speak English.
Meanwhile, Secretary Remulla also confirmed that the DILG has returned to Malacanang 500 million pesos from their 1.3 billion peso intelligence fund for this year. He said the allocation in the national expenditure was really just 800 million pesos and that a congressman just inserted the additional fund in the budget.
500 million that is additional to that was an insertion which we turned over to the office of the president. We didn't use that 500 million. So that is the grand total. But as according to we only followed what is according to the GAA and not the NEP and not the GAA. What was put additional was we found no use for it. Yes, sir, we returned it because it was an insertion in the budget. And the insertion came from the person who requested 3,000 containers of fish. So
why will they insert intelligence funds?
It beats me, sir. We didn't ask for it, so I returned it.
On to markets news now. Gold is shining brighter with prices skyrocketing this year. Even economists believe that it is time for gold investors to sell. But some remain cautious, worried about a sudden crash. Mon Gualvez with the full report.
From necklace to ring to bracelet, 59-year-old Jimmy Soriano is virtually wrapped in gold. But he still couldn't get enough of this very valuable possession. We caught sight of Jimmy checking out more gold pieces at Arranque in Manila. He is just one of many Filipinos who now believe gold is a sensible investment these days.
Ang dati ang gold, nasa 1,003 lang per gram. Eh ngayon, magkano na ang per gram ngayon? 6,000 mahigit. So, nagiging triple na ang presyo. Masigit pa sa langis. Pag kapos ka biglaan sa pera, ano na yan, kasonahan mo na agad dyan. Na pwede mo isanla, pwede mong ibenta.
Jimmy was drawn to another necklace supposedly to add to his collection. He did not disclose to us how much the piece actually cost. Jimmy did say, though, that this was more expensive than his last purchase, which was not a long time ago. In the end, he did not buy anything for this gold run. But that does not mean Jimmy is not coming back this side of Manila.
Jackpot. Tumama ka na sa jackpot, nanalo na agad yung parang piso mo, tamang 100. Pag damit ng binili mo, kinabukasan, wala na, depreciate na yan, pati sasakyan. Pero ang gold, habang aabutin ng apo mo yan, tumataas ang presyo. O ngayon, ito na nga.
According to jewelers here in Arranque, the price of gold started to increase again by mid-September. Last year, a gram of gold is just around 3,000 pesos. But now, this price has almost doubled. Because of that, for instance, a necklace with around 12.7 grams of gold bought for 44,000 pesos 5 years ago could now be worth around 70,000 pesos when sold and just a little less if pawned. Richard, a gold seller, attributes the sudden rise in gold prices to geopolitical tensions.
Nakaka-apekto talaga sa pagtaas yung gera sa ibang bansa kasi nag-hoard sila ng ginto. Tsaka possible din yung tariff ni Trump. Nahihirapan silang mag-angkat ng gold dahil sa tariff. So tumataas yung tax. Yung dati kasi pag nagtaas ang gold, weekly, 10 pesos, 20 pesos, weekly yun ha. Pinakamalaki na siguro 50 pesos per gram. Ngayon, hundreds ang taas. Daily.
That should have been good news, except gold sellers here in Arranque, as well as in Ongpin, find this as a reason to be even more cautious.
Natatakot kami kasi the more na tumataas yung gold, nangangamba kami kung may bibili pa ba or meron pa bang mag-accept ng gold natin. Kasi nga sobrang taas, hindi natin alam kung kaya pa ba ng tao yung demand ng price ng gold.
Ngayon po dahil tumaas, so konti na lang din po yung nakukuha namin kasi nga po ang taas na po masyado ng gold. Tsaka nag-worry rin po kami, baka mamaya bigla pong bumaba kasi po malulugi po kami pag ganun po.
Economist John Paulo Rivera is a senior research fellow with the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. He confirms that the biggest driver of world gold prices now is the current crisis in the Middle East and the expected downtrend of interest rates in the United States.
Kapag ang interest rate ay bumababa, lumilipat ka sa isang investment na stable. At isa dito ay ginto. Sa pangalawa naman, kapag inflation ang pinag-uusapan natin, o kaya yung mga geopolitical tensions o mga kaguluhan, nagtutulak kasi yung mga tao na bumili ng ginto bilang panangga sa pagbaba ng halaga ng kanilang pera.
Rivera also explains that gold is generally considered a safe investment. That's because it's non-renewable, which means that its value does not decrease over time.
So kapag bumababa ang presyo ng pera, ng salapi, kailangan mong lumipat sa isang instrument, sa isang bagay na makakapag-store, makakapagtago ng halaga ng yung value ng salapi at isa dito ay ginto. Hindi naman abundant ang ginto. So dahil ito ay limitado lamang, hindi lahat ng tao makakakuha ng sapat na dami ng ginto. So dahil doon nag-aagawan tayo sa ginto, tumataas yung presyo.
Indeed, a golden investment opportunity for those who believe that gold retains its purchasing power no matter the economic season. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
We are just pausing for another quick break, but when we return, there's one company that is making every part of a coconut count. Sustainability is up next. Keep it here on One News.
Yeah, sure, says good evening and good evening, everybody.
Welcome to the Big Story. Tell us about how this green honey or sweet nectar of the coconut was discovered or was invented, how the recipe came about.
Well, actually, this was, shall we say, forced upon us or upon me by what was happening by the coconut industry. Way back in the 70s, the coconut industry was slowly dying from 300 million trees down, and that's principally because most of the traditional products like copra, whole nuts, and desiccated coconut were controlled by commodities traders and dealers. So it really did not filter down all the way to the tenants, and even the plantation owners were never really assured of a good income since the prices fluctuated. So my strategy was to start looking for non-traditional product that will have a stable price for a long time. It's not, it's free from manipulation, from the commodities trading that goes up and down, you know, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day. And most of all, it's a product that should really not only benefit the coconut industry, but the whole community as well. And so this is where we started looking at the nectar that flows from the blossoms of the coconut tree, which very few people know, except when they start talking about lambanog and tuba.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, they did not know that the blossoms actually produce this actually super nectar that will eventually be a major support for the immune system for all
So it's a
diseases.
superfood.
So it's actually, it's a coconut honey. It's really honey because it's from the nectar, except that it's not animal honey like bee. It's vegan honey because we just purify it. We have a way of purifying and taking out a lot of water to to just come up with as pure a product as possible. No ingredients, nothing added.
Just nectar.
Okay, and
No chemicals.
and it comes
nothing.
out no, nothing. It's pure coconut honey, and it's not registered as a sweetener at the FDA. It's registered as food supplement.
We've heard of coconut sugar, which is also becoming very popular because of the lower content.
Lower GI, glycemic
Yeah,
index.
lower glycemic index. How does this compare to cocoa sugar?
Well, it's a little bit different because cocoa sugar is, by its very name, is a sweetener, and it is addressed to the sweetener market. That's one. And the other one is the preparation of cocoa sugar is kind of different from the way we purify the honey. And the finished product, much as what I know is that cocoa sugar has some expiry. They can turn bad after 1 or 2 years. But our coconut honey has no expiry, actually.
May I share with you that I was feeling under the weather yesterday, and I took a tablespoon last night and this morning, and I feel fine. What did that do to me? What was in there? Ano ba ang mga nutrients? If you say it's a superfood, sustainable because no other additives, what's in it? What are the vitamins, minerals, amino acids? What's the content?
Well, we have to go to our immune system. Our immune system, this is what really fights all physical problems, diseases. It keeps us healthy. But the immune system, it's like special forces. They need 20 kinds of amino acids, no more, no less. And before coconut honey was, before we started looking at coconut honey, we really didn't know what kind of amino acids were contained in this vegetable or that vegetable or this fruit or that fruit. So we, with 20 amino acids, we probably needed to compile a lot of fruits and vegetables to be able to get 20. But this coconut honey, it's all in that bottle.
Wow.
All the 20 amino acids needed are there, so you don't have to go anywhere. It gives you instant energy.
So it's a
best taken when
natural medicine.
Yeah, it is a very potent immune booster because it really supplies the ammunition for the immune system to fight all kinds of diseases.
But since you started this, producing this, has it had an impact on the number of coconut trees that are planted? Also, the longevity of the coconut tree, has it? Because you get the nectar, not the fruit. has it led to longer lifespan of the coconut tree?
Well, thank you for the question, because that is one of the major things that we looked into. To cut a long story short, I've been advising planters and plantation owners to cut down old trees and sell them as cocoa lumber, because they will never make money with just 40 nuts a year or less. And replant, that's the condition. Replant with dwarf coconuts. Now, that's the good news now, is that they're slowly recognizing the benefits of dwarf coconuts. Number one, you don't have to climb dwarf coconuts, so you can really increase livelihood by hiring any Tom, Dick, and Harry, because they don't have to climb to be able to get the nectar or even the product. And there is now a lot of, that's the good news, there is now a lot of suppliers of dwarf coconut seedlings. So I believe that it's going to take some time, but I think the coconut industry is slowly inching back up. It's still a long way to go, but that's the good news. We have the dwarf coconuts that can bear fruit in
3 years.
2 to 3 years. Yeah, and you can have as many as maybe 50, 70 nuts in all blossoms, all at the same time. So we have a lot of that. We can all just research that on Facebook, all the suppliers of dwarf coconuts. So I'm very happy about that, because this is the future of the coconut industry. You see, we're losing a lot of climbers. Nobody wants to climb anymore. And the tall coconut trees, we have to climb, to get the nuts, or use long knives. But with dwarf coconuts, we don't need climbers.
That's an ancient skill. Anong tawag sa kanila, Shawn? Those that climb to get the nectar.
Mangangaret.
So wala na.
Mangangaret.
Matatanda na sila. Ganun po ba?
Well, not only that, the next generation don't want to do that. We've gone to a lot of plantations with very tall trees and a lot of thousands of trees. Well, we can't put up a plant there because there are no climbers.
But Joseph, I'm curious, no? Kasi of course the Philippines is one of the top producers of coconut in the world. That's why we are a top exporter as well when it comes to coconuts. But how have you helped these workers change their lives, and how involved are they in the process? Because I understand merong mga workshop rin kayo sa bawat community.
Well, we talk to the planters, and we show them the major difference, the big difference between in income from the unpredictable copra prices to versus the stable, let's say, cocoa honey prices. And there's income from the cocoa honey from harvesting nectar for cocoa honey is at least 7 times what they get for copra if and during the time when the copra price is high, because there are times when the copra price is only 5 pesos per kilo and all the nuts are on the ground. Nobody's touching them.
Okay, Uncle Frank, hello. It's been a while. It's been about 9 years, I think, since we did that story. I'm still a fan, but what happened there in 2022? Of course, this was after we shot that feature. There was an FDA advisory on Dr. Jerry's cocoa nectar. What was that about, and is that okay now, all lifted?
Well, yeah, it's all okay now. You see, we had that 3-year problem, and we forgot to renew our COR, or certificate of registration, but that was taken care of. We're up to date now. Our certificate of registration expires in 2026, and our LTO expires in 2027. So that was taken care of right there.
How is the market for coconut honey? And is it growing?
Okay, that is my problem. I'm not a marketing man. I'm a production and product development man from my background and all of my management experiences. So plus the fact that it really takes a lot of capital to invest in awareness campaign for the product. So cut a long story short, we are not reaching as many people as we want to, but I never lose sight of the potential. The potential is that if you just put one small bottle in every home, and they consume that in 1 week. You know, we have how many households? We have 10 million people now, 130 million people divided by 6. That's about the number of households. So if you just target the class AB of households, and then assume that they consume one small bottle a week, which they of course will.
You're selling it as a food supplement and not as a sweetener.
Not as a sweetener, no. It's definitely a food supplement. Our FDA registration is food supplement because, well, you can use it to sweeten anything. It's a very nutritious sweetener.
Yes.
But we made it to address really the physical well-being of everybody.
Aside from green honey, Uncle Frank, have you explored other innovations, uses already for coconut? I know there's coconut water, coconut oil. Now we have honey, pero may iba pa po bang gamit ang coconut?
Well, yes, we've heard of coconut, virgin coconut oil. These are later developments. But in my case, I have developed our coconectar or coconut honey jam. So this coconectar jam has only 2 pure natural ingredients, coconut honey and fresh coconut milk. That's it. Wow. Very nutritious, very delicious. All of our sweets, the diabetics should never worry about.
Saan ba namin mabibili? Uncle Frank, saan bang bilihan?
This is by batch production. So right now, we only have a few boxes. We'll schedule production again. And we will start looking at permanent outlets for this. But this is one of the products we developed. And then, of course, we have cocoa cider. Cocoa cider, again, is not an ordinary vinegar.
Yeah.
This is this is vinegar from coconut honey. It's fermented coconut honey. So it's a lot more potent than apple cider, for that matter.
Okay. Order na po kami. We thank you so much for your time and good luck to your endeavors.
Well, thank you very much. Nice seeing you again, Shawn.
Thank you,
Okay,
Uncle
thank you,
Frank.
Ces. Thank you.
That
Bye-bye.
was Uncle Frank, or Joseph Franklin Regis of Uncle Frank's Green Honey Processing Enterprises.
Do you take it, Shawn?
Every day since 2008.
Wow.
No, actually before I did the feature. So I hunted him down. Because I had been at that time, I hunted him down. I was taking it for 8 years already.
Okay. So you just saw it?
No, my dad gave it to me.
You never get sick?
No. You didn't get sick, right?
Yeah,
I never get sick.
We all need a bottle.
Yeah, we do.
All right, and that will do it for us on The Big Story this Thursday. Thank you so much for watching.
We're back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. We'll see you then.
A box. I need a box.
Box.
Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a good night.